Hey y'all, welcome to my channel, All Things Faithful. If you haven't already, go ahead and press that like and subscribe button, and I'm gonna get right into it. So today I'm gonna be talking about how the Lord delivered me from the spirit of fear. I was operating heavy in it. So when I was in the world and I had friends, I talked about in my previous video how that had really hurt. When I would come into contact with people and I felt like they were mistreating me, they were being mean to me, they weren't handling me correctly, my go-to was to cut you off, cut off all access. I'm done with you. We don't have nothing else to talk about. That was my response to people. And that was just a way for me to go into protection mode, because like I said, I was scared and I didn't want to experience that same hurt that I had experienced when I was, in the world, when I was my old self. And I really want to put emphasis on my old self and my new man. Emphasis on old self and my new man. So when I came into Christ and I would come into contact with people who may have been operating in a way that I felt like wasn't right to me, I was still responding the same way that my old man would. And God was dealing with me with this spirit in steps. At first he showed me that I was operating in the spirit of fear. And then I met my friend, Shay. Shout out to Shay. We went through something and we were always able to have honest conversations with one another and just be truthful without feeling like we couldn't tell each other about one another. We are open to do that, and we create a safe place for one another to be able to do that. A lot of people say they want you to be honest, but they don't create this space. And I just really appreciate her for creating this space for me to be able to be open and honest with her about my feelings. And so I had a conversation with her one day. I told her, hey, I don't really like it when you talk to me like this. I feel like you're trying to talk down at me or you're trying to intimidate me. She was like, I'm not doing that. She said, I feel like I'm your friend and you should know that I don't mean no harm when I talk to you like that. I said, just because we're friends, that don't mean you can just talk to me like that. And that was a conversation we had that day. And the next day, y'all, she came and apologized, and she was crying, and she sincerely was sorry because she didn't realize what she was doing. And that had really helped me, because I knew she was sorry, and she didn't realize, because she had to respond in that way based off of what she grew up in. She had to respond that way to protect herself, just how I was putting up this wall to protect myself. I had addressed that with her, but by the time I had addressed it, I had already had up a wall with her. Now, it only took Shay a day to come and apologize, but y'all, it took me a whole year. The Lord was just dealing with me with this. I truly appreciate Shay because I know she noticed it, I know she felt it, and I know it hurt that I had that wall up with her, but she still loved me through my flaws. She loved me through it. Literally a year later, I came to her and I had to apologize to her. The same way she was crying, y'all, I was crying. I was like, Shay, I am so sorry that I treated you like that and I had that wall up with you. I told her, I said, by the time I had addressed it, I had already put this wall up with you because I was scared and I was trying to protect myself. I was operating in the spirit of fear, and it was having me respond in a way that God would not want me to respond. I cried, I apologized, and she accepted my apology and she forgave me. And y'all, that's my girl. That's my ex-boom coon. That's my friend. That's how the Lord, he was continuously showing me myself. So I came into contact with somebody else. They were doing something and I felt like it wasn't right. The same test, God had showed me how I was operating and he had me come into it again. But I was still responding the same way my old man would. I ain't got to deal with this. I ain't got to deal with you. I ain't got time for it. It ain't healthy. I don't want to do it. That's how I was responding. And then, y'all, I had a situation in my church. This person I felt like was being mean to me. I didn't like it. I communicated how I felt. We talked about it. And afterwards, I said, I forgive you. In the best interest of both of us, we don't have to interact with each other. There I go, responding the same way that my old man did. Here it is. I'm seeing the test. I'm recognizing the test that he's giving me, but I'm still responding the same way, responding through my emotions. I'm going to tell y'all why I was responding the same way. It's because I was trying to do it in my own might and in my own strength. I was praying about it, but I wouldn't wait on God to give me the answer on what to do. I would move out of my own emotions because I didn't want to deal with it. But it wasn't until God showed me that I didn't call you to be like this. You're a new man, you're a new creation, and you have to respond differently. Because God has a standard how he wants us to live and to do things. I wasn't operating the way that he would have me to, because I was operating in agreement with the spirit of fear, and I was responding through my emotions. One day I was fasting, and me and my cousin was sitting in each other's scriptures back and forth, and I was just reading these scriptures, and I was like, it just clicked. Like, I couldn't do it. The Lord did this. It just clicked. And I'm going to give y'all the scriptures that I read that day that really God worked that thing through me. Colossians chapter 3, verses 1 through 17. Matthew 5, verse 13. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 17 through 24. And Ephesians chapter 5, verses 1 through 2. Those scriptures, God just did a new thing in me. I am no longer operating in the spirit of fear. I am delivered. I'm delivered. And so I know society has us thinking that people just need to be cut off and you need to be done with them. But when you're a new man and you're walking in faith and you're trusting God, you no longer need to protect yourself because God is going to protect you. And he's going to work that thing out of you. You can't do it yourself. He does it, and you just have to trust him through the process. Because, y'all, this is a pruning season for me. God pruned that thing out of me, and I am overjoyed that I am delivered from the spirit of fear, y'all. I am no longer operating in that spirit in this season. And there may come, of course, I'm going to go through other seasons in life where I'm going to have to deal with these same spirits. I'm going to have to deal with spirit of intimidation, the spirit of jealousy, the spirit of envy, like all of these spirits, y'all. I'm going to come into contact with them again. But God now has equipped me with the tools to be able to deal with them his way, not my way. And so that's why understanding that there is an old man, and when he says to put on the new man, you have to put on that new man and you have to seek him. It gives you the word to help you through that. The word literally helped me through that. And through prayer and fasting, y'all, I got delivered from this spirit. And I'm going to come into it again. But now I'm equipped with the tools to be able to handle and deal with this spirit in love and not through my emotions. And so I'm going to read off those scriptures for y'all, and that's going to be the end of this video. But yeah, I hope that this really sets some people free, y'all. We have to operate in love and not in our own way. Colossians chapter 3, verses 1 through 17. Since then, you have been raised with Christ. Set your hearts on things above where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on earthly things. For you died, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you will also appear with him in glory. Put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature, sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry. Because of these, the wrath of God is coming. You used to walk in these ways in the life you once lived, but now you must also Rid yourselves of all such things as these: anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from your lips. Do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its practices, and have put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge in the image of its Creator. Here there is no Gentile or Jew, circumcised or uncircumcised, barbarian, slave or free, but Christ is all and is in all. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you have a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace, and be thankful. Let the message of Christ dwell among you richly as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom through psalms, hymns, and songs from the Spirit, singing to God with gratitude in your hearts. And whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. Y'all, that's Colossians 3, verses 1 through 17. I gave y'all the other scriptures. I'm not going to read all of them, but I gave y'all the other ones. Y'all can go back and look at them. If you're dealing with that, struggling to love on the people in your life, that may not be treating you right in this season, that may be doing, things wrong. Now, that's not to say tolerate any and everything. That is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, when you know you're in a good relationship and you have good people around, and they just may be doing something that you don't necessarily agree with right now, love them through it, just like God told us to. It's not in us to just cut people off and lead them where they at. That's not what he wants. We need a community, guys, and get delivered. I am free from the spirit of fear. I am delivered, and I just thank God, y'all. I hope this really helped y'all. I hope it made sense. I'm overjoyed. Y'all have a amazing, prosperous, blessed day. And if anybody hasn't told you, I will. I love you. Bye, y'all.